What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua, Roy Jones Jr., and Derrick James. Get this. Roy Jones Jr. had this to say about the duo. He said it's a very tough fight for him. I love AJ to death, and I think he's a great fighter, but his issue right now is dealing with punches coming back at him. So, you don't want to fight Wilder, Jones told ID Boxing. He also added this. Those punches that will be coming at you from him are different to anybody else in the division. So he's got to go get that taken care of before he goes in front of Deontay Wilder. Sometimes it takes time for a fighter and trainer to get their whole aspect together. Apparently, that hasn't happened straight away. But if they stay together, then maybe they'll finally get some continuity. But they definitely didn't get any in the first fight, said Jones. Hopefully, they get better as they go. It sometimes takes a bit of time for things to kick in for a fighter and they get on the same page. So hopefully in the next couple of fights, they'll get better and start to gel. Because in that fight, they didn't get much at all. Those are the words of Roy Jones Jr. and let me counterpunch. I do agree with Roy that Anthony Joshua and Derrick James, they need to be simpatico. They need to work together. More importantly, they need to work together more, okay? I think you can screw up any process by rushing it, okay? And that's what I feel that they're doing. Now, according to the DAZN North American chief and staff, John, I think they know that. I think that they're giving AJ all the time that they need for him to develop with the trainer that he chose and selected. Okay. Now, do I necessarily agree with Roy saying nothing worked well? I disagree because unless Derrick James was just talking out his ass and lying to people, he was pretty satisfied with what he saw with Anthony Joshua in the Jermaine Franklin fight. Now, a lot of people disagreed and a lot of people weren't. But Derrick James went in to do something that Rob McCracken couldn't do with Usyk, Robert Garcia couldn't do with Usyk, but Derrick James was able to do and to execute. Hey, get him a damn win. That's what he wanted to do. That was his main priority. And if he was only basing that off those standards, that would be an A, meaning an A grade, right? But is it an A plus? No. However, that's not the only thing that he judged him on. The things that he mentioned that he wanted AJ to do, he done. You know, work behind the jab. Don't get into exchanges. Fight tall. Work the body. You know, those type of things that he worked on. Did he fight scared and tentative and unsure? Sure he did. But according to Derrick James, he did what he's supposed to done. Now the question would be, what if he did that for 11 rounds and got chinned by Jermaine Franklin and got hurt and the whole fight changed? Would we have heard the same thing from Derrick James? That's the million-dollar question, people. You know, because a lot of people dictate what or how good a fighter did based on the end result. So a lot of people think that it's about the destination and necessarily the journey, right? And indeed, it is about the journey because it's about what you go through to get to where you're going to. Bars. Okay? So I think that Derrick James, according to him, he thought he did well. You know, I'm quite sure that it's a lot of things or some things that Derrick James wants to work with Anthony Joshua on. But like Roy said, and I agree with, he's not going to get an opportunity to do that if his next fight is against someone that he could potentially lose in, especially somebody fickle is Deontay Wilder. Because Wilder could hit you, and it doesn't matter how much you're doing well or what you're working on or how things progressing. When he hits you, you may be out for the count. So I think it's going to need, and he's going to need more time with his trainer. And I think it's going to go beyond the experience that he gets into the gym. He needs to get that same experience, an equal experience inside the ring. So do I want to see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder? Of course I do. But do I want that to deter the progress of Joshua that he could make to make him a better fighter with Derrick James? I don't think so. I think if he really wants to be a better fighter, he needs to stop falling for all the bullshit and the distractions or the possibilities of a possible fight with all these big guys, because I think Joshua gets starstruck in tunnel vision based on what he or his accomplishments that he wants and his desires, based on that wolf ticket. And that wolf ticket could be, oh, hey, this Wilder fight's there, or that Tyson Fury fight's there for sure. And, and something always happens, and I think by this time, those things that could possibly happen for AJ, and AJ ends up in a tailspin and somewhere he doesn't want to be, is because of some things that he thought that was going to happen, and he overlooked the things that he should be focusing on. And that's fighting the fighter in front of you. Okay, it happens all the time. Yeah, he didn't necessarily overlook Usyk, but he sure as hell looked past him. If you have to ask a guy that's not on your team, how do I beat this guy? You didn't prepare for that guy at all. Okay, because that's what we heard amongst Joshua's first defeat to Alexander Usyk. He was looking forward to another fight. So that tells you what his focus and his mindset was on, and it wasn't Usyk. Okay, especially the first fight. Now, the second fight, he just got beaten, but he did a lot better. He got another trainer. But guess what? He still came up short. So I think Anthony Joshua should focus on those things right in front of him instead of chasing waterfalls. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Roy Jones Jr. claiming that Anthony Joshua needs more time with Derrick James. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.